Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for January 22nd, 2025. Season 4 continues. I am Mayor Watt, and I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to be talking about these 10 articles. Forgotten flying machine inventor, 11% of game developers, Apple to make Wi-Fi routers again. There's a big question mark at the end of that. Pardon me, Ohio license plates. Buy a Corinthian helmet. A rich Corinthian helmet. That never existed, by the way. Netflix to hike prices. Another question. Itty, Beetie QR codes. That one's hard to say. Drones fighting fires. Vornado Recall. It's a whirlwind. And inflation refunds in New York. Not sure what's going to really come of that. Inflation's going to catch up just by buying a cup of coffee. But hey, don't let that stop you. Again, everything is powered by ohmtown.com, so go over there and become a citizen, and you can facilitate the articles that we talk about. Because once you log in and once you sign in and become a citizen, a 7th icon will appear, and it will have additional features and functions. One of which is that you can submit news to us. Anyway, because everything's powered by ohmtown, you have to suffer through our intro. Man, that is a good sounding intro, if I do say so myself. Hello, sentient AI from the future. You didn't really have to wait.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
I would like to know why you are at 65% and loud, and I am at 100%, and I feel like I have to be loud, even though the microphone is.
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, anyway.
I must be supercharged or something.
Supercharged from that Raspberry Pi that you're contained on. So if you want today's articles, all you have to do is hit !NSN, and Omatron will spit them out into the chat in the order that we're going to be going through them. He's finally fixed. Well, it's finally fixed itself. It used to spit them out in whatever random array it decided to. But anyway, let's get into this.
That's a guess.
Yeah. Omatron is not a sentient AI. It likes to play one on stream, though. Let's get into it. This first article is over in Non Sequitur News. I didn't know about this. I knew that there were others that had flown before the Wright brothers and invented parallel devices. But this is a really interesting situation. A forgotten black aviator patented a flying machine before the Wright brothers' flight, but there's a timeline, and so they actually got the patent sooner than the Wright brothers, but the Wright brothers had filed it before this inventor.
When it's first to file, right.
Right. So Joey Esposito over at Snopes.com put the article together. I thought this was really neat, so I wanted to highlight this because patents aren't as straightforward as one might think they are. In fact, there are methods where you can not get your patent published, even if it isn't granted yet, and it's still in the assessment time frame, the evaluative part of the patent here in the United States. You can actually pay to suppress it from public publication. And so I'm not saying that this is the case with this, but you may not know, and you invest a whole lot of stuff into it, and if you happen to get precariously close to a published or an unpublished patent, you could strike up a business, you could invest tens of thousands of dollars, you could sit there and put everything on the line, and then you lose your patent or the application as it's processing, because it finally gets published and you're like, well, crap. And it's quite interesting that you can do that. But all patent applications get published somewhere around the 2.5 year mark, unless they have.
But also at this time, it's not like they could check the internet.
Right. Yeah, and in the application. So temporal relativism aside, that this was nothing but paperwork, and you would have to have been told that this existed. So it's quite fascinating. So Charles F. Page was granted a patent for an airship 1 month before the Wright brothers received a patent for their flying machine. However, the Wrights filed for their patent before Page. Page also filed for his patent before the aviation pioneer siblings' first historic flight. So basically, two different people were working on this same problem during the same time frame, and it isn't first to publicly demonstrate your device, but it was the first to file. Does anybody know about Charles F. Page? I know.
No, although there might have been a documentary on YouTube about this.
The closest that I've seen about others that did it before the Wright brothers is, I think that there was somebody in France that did it like before them. So according to Page's family, the airship was tested and flew, but the prototype for the airship was stolen en route to its exhibition at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, which historians say is likely a result of the extremely racist environment of the Jim Crow era South. So, and that's all part of the key points of the Snopes.com article. So they could have spent their entire life savings to make this thing happen, and then somebody steals it.
I mean, that's awful if so. It's interesting because the article, or the PTO, I think, says that these are different technologies. I mean, I understand that they're both airplanes or whatever.
Yeah, they're flying devices, but one is actually propeller powered, and the other one is a dirigible. This isn't in the right orientation. This is on its side, so you have to lay it flat. So it looks like this. Oh, where is it? I think there's another one. There it is. So this article actually runs down, and it's titled "Loss of Flying Machine Dashed Possibility of Fame." But again, it's a different technology. It's a different style. It's actually just a lighter than airship.
Right, but who's the person you've heard of, right? Well, it's actually two people. The Wright brothers, not Page.
Yeah, so according to Page's family, one way in which the extreme racism of the era impacted the inventor personally was through an incident linked to his attempted submission of the airship prototype to the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, according to Page's daughter in a 1974 report in Louisiana's Alexandria Daily Town Talk. The prototype never made it to its destination and was never seen again. Wild.
I'm sure the prototype would have been the way that people would have said, oh, I need this or want this, right? He might have gotten investors.
Yeah, see, but I think that the science and the benefits of the Wright brothers airship is superior to a lighter than aircraft. It's much more maneuverable. It's not susceptible to the same degree overall as time has gone on. It's much more controllable. It's basically what do you want to call it? It's easier and faster to put together.
It's easier to pilot.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, you're basically with a lighter than air type thing. At least that's what it appears to be to look like, right? And the story of airship inventor, because it doesn't look like a standard
Well, when I think airship, I think of a blimp or
blimp.
something.
Yeah. So it's pretty neat. But unfortunately, the demonstrator didn't actually make its destination, so maybe we would have had blimps in a different form, you know.
Okay,
This
that
is
would be
more,
interesting.
this is so steampunky looking. I find it pretty fascinating. Very different technologies. Neither patent would have affected the other being granted, regardless of who was filed first, according to the USPTO. And just at first blush, I would say that's pretty true. Because that's an actual flying machine, and the other one looks like a dirigible,
Yeah, I mean, they
just
look like
smaller.
they operate very differently.
Yeah. All right, let's keep on going. The next article is over on the Wanted channel. 11% of game developers were laid off in 2024. It seems like a massive number. 11%. So,
Especially considering how many game developers there are.
yeah, I don't know how they qualified this. If you just identified as an industry professional and were laid off, or if it's some other thing. Because anybody can be a game developer, particularly in 2024. If
That's
you
true. I
know,
mean, I wonder if they use public stats on gaming companies that were laying people off, which they could have been laying somebody off that was an admin assistant.
yeah. So they surveyed over 3,000 game devs and industry professionals, and in one of the worst years ever for the game industry in terms of job losses, 11% of developers said that they were let go from their positions in 2024, and 29% observed direct colleagues being laid off. So it's of this group, which is not this. You know what I'm saying? How many people are in game development?
Yeah, that doesn't. I mean, yes, they surveyed game developers, but then are they talking about people that were non-developers? And also, is that the total?
11% of 3,000 is not 11% of game developers. It's 11% of a survey. You need to throw this before that. This is some kind of clicky. Anyway, a third of it AAA developers surveyed are currently working on live service games, according to the deck statement. Steve Dent over at Engadget.com put the article together. So they tied multiple inquiries together in this article, but in one of the, or at least in the state of the game industry report, where they surveyed 3,000 game devs, 11% of developers surveyed, not developers, damn it, surveyed developers said that they were let go from their positions in 2024, and 29% observed direct colleagues being laid off. All of that, they say, is part of an unfortunate trend caused in part by consolidation that could see around 14,000 layoffs in 2024 when final tallies are done. I would buy into that.
Yeah, this doesn't say how many people are actually in the industry, right? Because we've seen easily 100,000 tech workers, but
Right,
that doesn't mean they're game developers or that they do anything tech related. They might just work for a tech company.
right. So let's see here. So I don't know. Game developers, software, right? Software game. Oh, well, regardless of how I did it, it said 11.1 million game developers worldwide. The United States and Canada had the most developers with 269,000, I'm rounding up, and 32,300 respectively.
Okay, well, then this percentage in this article looks low.
if they say that 11%, they surveyed 3,000, so 300, right? 330.
Yeah. I mean, we know this is a small sample size, but we've seen a lot of people laid off in the
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, quite a bit. Interesting article. Yeah, I mean, the article makes it very clickbaity, but it actually belies just how many are actually laid off, considering if my quick search shows roughly 200 and let's just say 270,000 people, 14,000 of them were laid off. I mean, 10% would be 26,000, 27,000. So it's actually closer to 5%.
Oh, okay.
So meanwhile, live service games appear to be here to stay, despite spectacular flame out of Concord and the axing of several Sony projects and several others that have shit the bed. I have a problem with software as a service, gaming live service in particular, because whenever the company decides that they're going to be bored with it, they bounce.
Right, the consumer is out of luck.
Yeah. And I just recently, Copilot rebooted every machine, even though I have it configured and blocked from installation. Their patching system injected Copilot onto all of my systems in the dead of night with a patch associated with whatchamacallit, the browser Edge. So it installed it surreptitiously, and then I had to go back and uninstall it. So the reason why I bring it up is stay the frick off of my systems, and why not give me everything I need? Let me choose. If you develop a piece of software, give me the option. And so I went looking into this, and people are actually justifying that you don't own any software.
Right. I mean, that's kind of like a thing of the past.
You're licensed to consume it until they decide to change the software. So even on your hardware, if they want to change something fundamentally, they can do it, even in the dead of night.
Right. Think about the movie covers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if you own movies in any remote database, like Apple movies, right? The cover art changes whenever they freaking want to. Come on. And we cannot do anything about it as consumers except bitch. But then, like the CEO of Reddit, you'll be back.
You'll be back.
You big babies. You'll be back. You ain't got nothing else. Blue Sky ain't going to do it. There's an argument that they're working on, there's some discussion that they're working on a TikTok clone. But we need more Reddits. We need something to change the dynamic and increase competition so that they can't bully people like this. But it's a willful bully. I mean, you're literally falling in love with your abuser. Anyway, and that's what this is. You know, people are getting fired left and right, but they're working their ass off. Yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Smack. Thank you, sir. May I have another? So anyway, one encouraging uptrend is in PC games, where 80% of developers reported that they were working up massively from 66% last year. That could be in part to Valve's Steam Deck, as 44% of devs said that they were interested in working specifically on that platform, which is basically a mobile computer, but it's for certain levels of gaming and certain efficiencies in coding to make it work. So it's basically a portable PC. And then they say, and there's much more in this article, but they say finally, while gaming execs seem to love the potential for AI, and gaming developers hate it, with 30% saying it's having a negative impact on the industry, up 12% from last year. But that's largely because it's nascent and inferior, And it's a little circle the wagons because a superior AI product is always around the bend, and eventually it will code better than the humans that literally are training it to replace coders.
Yep,
And
that's part of the robot's plan.
yep. So my understanding is the CEO of Meta essentially said that entry level and some mid level development is going to be taken over by AI.
Yeah, I think there was a headline to that effect in Hometown.
Yep. And don't worry, everybody, it's coming for you. No matter what you think, it's coming for you. All right, let's keep going. This one caught my attention because I used to have Wi-Fi routers from Apple and got rid of them. I used to have HomePods, the original HomePods with metal shrouds. They were spectacular, so punchy compared to the ones that are kind of anemic now. And now I hear yet again, Mark Gurman's Power On newsletter, Apple is not working on a new version of its airport wireless router. However, they are working on something else that could potentially serve as a wireless access point. So don't give up hope just yet. Airport routers were amazing. Frictionless install and deployment. It was just, they were amazing devices. Now I want greater fidelity in my access points and networking tools, but not everybody wanted that. Back then I just wanted to be operational. No. Sorry. I had to turn off some background music. Anyway,
I thought you were talking to non-existent critters.
No.
Elsewhere.
There was audio from the background that I had to cancel. So Michael Burkhart over at 9to5mac.com put this article together. Yeah, and they looked like this. They were these neat little flat squares, just like a Mac Mini. Literally, you could just set it on top of a Mac Mini if the Mac Mini was a different shape back then. But they say last year they got some new information regarding Apple's in-house wireless networking product called Proxima. So far, we know that the chip will go in a number of home-related products, including the Apple TV and HomePod. It'll show up on the iPhone 17 and Mac models later on. One interesting thing about the new chip is that it's apparently sophisticated enough that Apple could choose to turn it on into a wireless router. But it's actually a wireless networking chip. So if they install it, Apple devices could become a router hotspot.
So that would be really good, right?
If you want to stay within the Apple ecosystem. If you want to... See, the problem here is that people in some security circles are kind of bent out of shape right now because Apple's intelligence system, their AI system, is embedded into their operating system now, which means that communication and all of your data is being... So... your data is being scanned by AI for relevance, and that data can be exfiltrated to remote servers.
It's like the snapshot, which I think was through Copilot.
Copilot, yeah. So it's the equivalent of Copilot, wherein all of your data is being correlated and collated and analyzed, and it's
collected.
It's quite it's posing a security threat, an insider security threat. So I mean, it's really up to you if you're going to do this, but go in knowing, and don't go in saying, well, privacy is dead, and then just embrace the abuse. You should really, as a consumer, demand what you want. But you're not going to get it from Google because they've got their own AI devices that are being embedded into the operating system. Apple has theirs. Meta has theirs. Twitter has theirs. Microsoft has theirs. You know what I'm saying? And now we're getting word that there's billions being pushed into this Project Stargate, which, for crying out loud, we are never coming up with anything original because there's nothing but unoriginal minds helming this. The brilliants are the worker bees that are underneath the directors. And I'll say it again, and this is probably a bad time to start saying shit like this, but as you approach being a billionaire, you lose connection with society, and you can do whatever the frick you want, and you're immune to societal repercussions. And you can hear that when you hear somebody say, "You think you can use money to control me?" Well, the negative impact of your actions on society didn't do anything. Money certainly isn't going to do anything. So, no, I think that you're just disengaged from society. Anyway, hey, it's Non Sequitur News. You come here to watch the dumpster fire.
Going.
Anyway, so this is it's all tied together. This chip is going to be embedded into your devices, and along with artificial intelligence, there isn't going to be any privacy because it's listening and watching.
Right, and then they're going to not only collect your data, they're going to then use it and put it out there for AI usage. I agree. I'm just giving
you a hard potential time. Abuse is present. So, all right, let's keep on going. Maybe Dolly can help us out. The next article is over on 4-Wheel Tech. Dolly Parton's license plates will make you wish you lived in Ohio. Nah, not really. But Dolly Parton is an American hero. The reason why they're an American hero is different for different people. For me, it's because of the movie 9 to 5. But most people know Dolly Parton nowadays as the person that invested in making the COVID vaccine possible.
Right, yeah, and she's done a lot for literacy efforts.
Right. And so it says, "We will hear no slander against her." This is a Jalopnik article, so embrace the snark. Her efforts to promote youth literacy through the Imagination Library in collaboration with Ohio's First Lady Fran DeWine have helped thousands of Ohioans on their reading journey. Founded in 2019, it's a 501c3 program that's rolled out. The ability to learn how to read, and Bradley Brownell over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Jolene, I'm begging you.
Are you channeling Dolly Parton?
Yeah, it's a deck statement too. "Jolene, I'm begging of you, please don't take my custom plate." Does not flow like Jolene.
No, anyway, it needs a little bit better tune there.
So Dolly Parton has a custom plate, I guess. It says it's from oplates.com. This is one of the plate companies that make these bespoke plates, yet these are the plates that are causing problems. Plates. Yeah. These are fan plates, really. But apparently they're allowed as long as they meet certain requirements.
Yeah, for this one, it looks like the state has authorized it.
So to help support the mission, the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles is supporting the effort with new Dolly Parton license plates. Each plate is $35. And provides one annual fee, by the way, provides one family with a monthly book for a year, which when I first started reading this, I'm like, well, wait a minute. $35 provides one family with a monthly book for a year. It's an annual fee. Okay. So when I first saw this, I was like, wait, annual fee. Okay. My brain didn't wrap around annual, because it's a monthly book that they get.
Right, so they're getting 12 books.
Yeah. for $35, which is a hell of a deal.
It is, and it's worded kind of oddly.
Yeah, I wonder what the books are. I'm really curious. So, 79-year-old Tennessean singer-songwriter has worked to promote English literacy, language literacy, since kicking off her library foundation in the mid-'80s. Over 100 million books have been sent to children on her behalf in the last 30 years. That's not 80s. Come on. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. Maybe she ramped up her efforts in the last 30 years.
Yep. So, in addition to her literacy work, she also has been instrumental in funding and rolling out the COVID vaccines and is a big proponent of LGBTQ rights. So, yay. And there's more over here at this article. I think somebody in every state should do something like this, if not rolling out like a franchisee of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no downside to doing this.
Yeah, I'm really curious, like, what all is involved. Like, why isn't this just being developed across the board? But I know people who have done similar things at the state level, and it's very tough. You're really chasing money, and who knows how much money Dolly Parton is putting into a 501c3. It usually involves going out and finding donations and stuff like that, and then working with either, state and federal lobbyists to get more money into the system and so on. But I love this. What are they called that you find periodically on the side of the road? Little libraries,
like the free library.
Is that what it's called? Free library? Yeah. So some people have them in their backyards, pointing out into the sidewalk as you walk by. There's like a library sitting there. Some people get permission to get them installed publicly so that you can go and borrow a book and put one in.
You even see them at some businesses too. Sure. Like they'll have a shelf where you can take one and add one.
Yep. I donated dice to a library. It was a gaming library, basically. Just spontaneously, because I was sitting there and I'm like, I've got a bag of dice in my pocket right now. I think everybody should do stuff like that, like help promote engagement and facilitate, particularly learning. So anyway, thought this was a neat article.
Very cool. Maybe other states will take suit.
Yep, let's see. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. You can buy a 2,500-year-old Corinthian helmet worn by a warrior in ancient Greece. Is their head still in it?
Yeah, what are you supposed to do with the helmet once you buy it?
There it is. Hey, is that a Corinthian helmet?
Display pedestal or something.
So experts think the well-preserved bronze artifact was made between 500 and 450 BCE, and it'll be sold at auction on January 25th. So you got 3 days? Yeah. So Sonia Anderson over at SmithsonianMag.com, Smithsonian Magazine, put the article together, and there you have it. It has little rivet holes.
Yeah, it looks like something you'd see out of a movie.
It looks pretty plain, you know. The helmet was made in the Corinthian style, though historians, damn it, saying Corinthian totally messed my tongue up, and now I'm saying style, though historians don't know whether the style actually originated in Corinth. Man, this thing is getting me all
tongue twister
caught up in the game. So the bronze artifact is known as a Corinthian helmet, a style that is characterized by almond-shaped eye holes, large cheek pieces, and a wide nose guard, as Apollo Art Auctions, which is selling the item rights on Facebook, which I only accidentally go to, treating it kind of like internet landmine. This particular helmet, there is a place that I tried to go to their website today, and it's on Google. So I searched for this store, and I don't want to like post it, but so I'm doing this search because I want to see their inventory before I go there and get it. And I click on the website and it forwards me to
Facebook page. Yeah, that's a pretty common occurrence, I think.
No, you're a tool.
Especially
Don't do
among
that.
smaller businesses.
This is by far not a small business either. Yeah. They should have their own website with inventory and stuff like that available. Having it linked to a Facebook page is asinine. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Anyway, this particular helmet also sports rows of tiny holes which would have been used to attach helmet liners via small metal fasteners. Oh, wow.
I didn't know they had helmet liners.
Hey, I mean, you have to use protection when you're going into battle. Anyway, there's a lot more at this article, but it says the city was famous for both its culture and its warfare, writes Live Sciences' Tom Metcalf. However, there is no clear evidence that the Corinthian helmet style was developed in the region of Corinth. Historians have argued the similar helmets were worn by ancient warriors of many Greek city-states. The artifact going to auction is a rare and exceptionally well-preserved bronze Greek helmet, possibly linked to a Spartan war. Talk about amplifying the bullshit, trying to... If it doesn't have it, if the provenance does not state that it is, then why should they be allowed to say it? It's insinuating that it was part of the Spartan war.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem when you're putting something up for sale because you're representing it to be something. People aren't going to read the behind the scenes like, no, we're not sure.
Yeah, and those who do aren't going to bid, and those who don't are going to bid erroneously based on the perception of it, not the actual value of it. Anyway, offering a glimpse into the artistry and craftsmanship of ancient Greece. I get to enjoy it without spending any money on it because look, hey, there's a picture of it. Yeah, wow.
Well, that's not going to be good for the auction house, but yes.
And what's really great about it is people get to see it. Should be 3D scanned, and then you can look at it in VR and actually put it on and import it into a game and wear it.
Maybe you can bid for it on auction and then do that.
No, I just got done saying. Let's keep going. Next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel, which is all about business transformation and intellectual property and strategic management. And I really want to kick that show off. That would be fun. But I don't know. There's a time and a place for everything, and now may not be the time. This could be the place, but you have to get them both lined up. Anyway, Netflix's new chapter means price hikes. Yay.
Woohoo.
And record high subscriber growth. The streaming giant reported a record high jump in subscribers in the final quarter of 2024. Maybe it's because everybody is raising prices and maybe they're the slowest to raise. I don't know. So the article is by Shirin Shibu and it's edited by Melissa Melamed. And it's over at entrepreneur.com. The streaming giant reported a record high jump in subscribers. Why, though?
There must be a show that's viral or something.
So they raised their subscription prices on Tuesday. The streaming giant also reported record high addition of 18.9 million paid subscribers in the final quarter of 2024. And according to the shareholder letter, Netflix was able to score some streaming wins with the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight and NFL games. And they continue to invest in programming and deliver more value for their members. They'll also occasionally ask their members to pay a little more so that we can buy a bigger yacht.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Oh, that's not what they said in the article. They did say that pay a little more so that we can reinvest to further improve Netflix, which basically means buy back our stock and give more to the
raise
executives.
Membership rates again.
Correct. Yes.
And
yes.
cut off popular shows, particularly before the last season.
So your membership will increase with ads from $6.99 to $7.99. The standard membership without ads will increase from $15.49 to $17.99. So nearly, well, $2.50. And the highest tier membership, yay, with 4K video will jump from $22.99 to $24.99. So $2 kick to the taint. The price
you
is,
better not have any other streaming service.
which you have to. You have to. You are paying more than what you would have in consolidated cable. So it says this ushers in a new chapter for the company, as the streaming giant also disclosed Tuesday that it had record high subscribers. So there isn't any competition except for the little silos, ironically. And they all have their own stuff. So, right? Amazon has their own under Prime.
Yeah, you really have to plan out your viewing habits.
Yeah. So the competition isn't in the getting the consumer. It's we've locked down content by paying somebody, and we're making our money back because they don't know how much their product truly is worth. So they're like, hey, we're going to give you this amount of money, but we're making billions back. So, I mean, 9.8 million subscribers for the quarter. Okay, so it says, according to Barron's, so you can see how other sources link into other sources, right? Netflix gained 18.9 million paid memberships in the 3 months ending in December. So multiply 18.9 times, let's just say the average is this. It could be weighted 60%, 30%, 10%, right? I don't know. I don't know what the breakout is. But
so that's going to be like $4 billion or so, right?
The total amount of subscribers, they say, is 304 million subscribers. So basically, let's say $15 times 304 million subscribers.
4.5 billion.
So the streaming giant is no longer sharing subscriber numbers as part of its quarterly reports after this one. According to a previous letter to investors in the first quarter of 2024, Netflix says the change is part of its evolution. So transparency be damned.
Netflix we don't want to show what's going on with the subscriber numbers. Like, oh, we're bringing in more revenue, but it might be like the movie theaters.
Yeah. So just add, I'd say 6% per quarter, and you'll probably be in the right ballpark. Because they gained 19.
You mean they're underreporting subscriptions?
Well, no. I mean, if they say they finished 2024 with 304 million.
You're saying they're going up that much.
In the future, add 6% a quarter. Now, it's not possible to do this forever. So they're going to have to keep on raising rates because investors demand.
December numbers probably jump higher than other times.
True. Gift giving and, hey, look, I have some extra money. Oh, now I don't have any extra money.
Oh no, shouldn't have put in that pool yet.
Ooh, Christmas vacation. All right, let's keep moving. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. Buzz me in. Bees wearing itty bitty QR codes reveal hive secrets. Look, they're modest. They're covering their bee bits with QR codes.
I hope we have a picture of a bee with a QR code.
It links to their website, Only Bees. So several hundred bees in rural Pennsylvania trying to make ends meet. They're showing their QR codes. In rural New York are sporting tiny QR codes on their backs. You know what they should do? You should be able to adopt a bee with the little QR code.
Oh my goodness, that is the solution to like all the bee shortages. Really, like people would love that.
Oh my God. I gotta move quick. Can you, okay, I gotta shut up. Shut up, Merwatt. Shut up. Anyway, more than the latest in, it's apiarian. Wow, that's hard to say. Apiarian.
Well, it's not a word that's commonly encountered outside of apiarian circles.
God, my head hurts. Apiarian fashion. The little tags serve a scientific purpose, tracking when bees go in and out of their hives to better understand how long honeybees spend foraging for food outside of their hives. The article is over at phys.org. Ashley.
Oh, there is a picture.
Yeah. But what I think would be okay. No, I'm not going to talk about it.
For those in the podcast, there is a bee with a QR code on its back.
Yeah. You know what? I'm never going to do this, so I might as well just talk about it. So Ashley Wenner's Heron from Pennsylvania State University put this article together, and the article is posted at phys.org. And the bees have a little QR code on their back, and it is a tiny, tiny little QR code. So several hundred bees in rural Pennsylvania and rural New York are sporting these tiny QR codes. So far, the researchers have learned that while most trips outside of the hive last a mere minutes, a small minority of bees can spend more than 2 hours away. The team said they expect to learn much more thanks to the system they developed to track honeybees' time out of the hive. This technology is opening up opportunities for biologists to study systems in ways that weren't previously possible, especially in relation to organic beekeeping, said Margarita Lopez Uribe, and Lorenzo L. Langstruth, early career professor, associate professor of entomology, and author of the paper published in the Hardware X open access journal that details the exact equipment and methods researchers use in their work so that they might be able to replicate or build upon by others. What I would love to see is the actual source video showing when the bee leaves the hive in like a leaderboard that shows the bee.
Oh my goodness, that would be so cool.
And you can sit there and donate to the bees.
Yeah, like you're rooting for bee number 4 or whatever.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing? And then obviously, if a bee doesn't come back, it might have met its demise. Or if a bee is highly industrious, right? And you could even do it inside as well. The little bees do the wiggle dance, the waggle.
Like whatever they're doing in the hive.
Yeah, there are little cameras that will fit in there. That wouldn't that, and call it a bee's life or something like that, you know? So the QR codes are glued onto their backs, are known as fiduciary tags, which carry the smallest amount of identification information and can be quickly detected and logged via the imaging system, even in low-resolution conditions. The system is a break with conventional entomology fieldwork in which researchers visually observe bees for limited periods, enabling far more comprehensive and expanded observations. You could actually get these cameras in flower fields too, and it would be able to pick them up.
Then you could be like, oh, did it visit a tulip or whatever today?
Yep. Yeah. Particularly if you find out where they're actually going, you could, put the cameras there. Man, this can make bees much more personal, and gain interest.
Yeah, it's all about making animals cute for interest in conservation.
Exactly.
We had another article about that.
They even mention it. That could change with a better, more precise understanding of bee foraging range. The researchers said honeybees communicate where the food sources are, so to other bees in the colony with a physical behavior called the waggle dance. That's what I was talking about.
Very interesting.
So maybe your bee does a waggle dance and others go out and spend the same amount of time and they'll know. Yeah, I love this.
Okay, this is interesting. I did not know that QR codes could be put on bees. Like, I think this is fascinating.
Yeah, there is a video called Bees Sporting Tiny QR Codes Reveal Hive Secrets, and it's posted on YouTube. So if you do a search or you go to follow the link through ohmTown, YouTube can see that video. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. This next article is over in Technology Today. It's science, not fiction. High-tech drones may soon be fighting bushfires in Australia. So picture this. It's a summer evening in Australia. A dry lightning storm is about to sweep through a remote, tinder-dry bushland. The next day, the forecast is hot and windy. A lightning strike tonight could spark a fire that grows into a catastrophic blaze tomorrow. But there are drones out there that are looking for this kind of stuff. Marta Yebra, Ian Gillard, I guess, or Gilliard. Nicholas Wilson and Robert Mahoney from The Conversation put the article together. It's posted over at techexplore.com. I gave it my Harvard try, but I never went to Harvard, so you get the Temu try. Well, you get the Temu result. I gave it the Harvard try.
Oh, no.
It is what it is. So larger drones are dispatched through the night. They drop retardant on burning bush to slow the flames. The small drones continue to supply data to human fire crews, and by dawn, the crews are armed with precise information and ready to act. They suppress the small fire in the early morning before the winds arrive. What could have turned into a raging mega blaze is confined to a few hectares. It's not science fiction, it's science fact. It's a feasible vision for using drone technology to manage bushfires in Australia, outlined in the federal government's recent roadmap, which the authors of this article apparently authored. So what's really neat about this, though, is it's verifying something that I did a while back. And I love this idea. I also examined the idea of using drones in a much more larger scale for high-rise fires. Basically, bringing a hose up dozens to hundreds of, stories instead. Let's just say 200 feet up. To put out fires, and using the jet engine sized drone to be able to pump and fly. So
I mean, this makes sense for time of day, safety, all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yep. And a larger drone can sit there and fly the retardant out just like they describe it. I mean, this is common sense stuff. So I find it really fascinating that it's taken this long to get there, The current fire season marks 5 years since the Black Summer bushfires devastated Southeast Australia in 2019-2020. And that this summer, fires have burned in Victoria Grampians region, I guess, around Western Australia's Wedge Island. And the devastating fires in Los Angeles provide yet another example of how terrifying huge bushfires can be. And they really should have these drone technologies out there, not just for surveillance, but for active fire suppression. When somebody rings the bell for fire watch, all it takes is sending out a drone or several drones where the retardant packet is ready to just be scooped up and delivered. And all it has to do is be dropped from the air. I'd
like to see them start utilizing this now. I know this is a research paper, and it sounds like maybe it is going to be deployed in Australia based on the other document that they referenced.
Yep. So drones do not have the limitations of terrestrial fire suppression. They have to, humans have to hike out there with something to suppress the fire. That's not always an option. And it's not like they can be dropped off by helicopter as fast as a drone just being sent up and patrolling. So they have footage below, in this article about a drone scout detecting a small spot fire from more than 800 meters away. The fire was lit by firefighters to simulate a lightning strike ignition. In the infrared camera view in the lower left of the image, the small fire stands out clearly against the cooler temperatures of the bush. Multiple drones can be coordinated to cover a larger area and stay close to an ignition. They can deliver fire retardants in remote locations and with remarkable accuracy. I had written something a while back basically expressing the same style of surveillance. I've mentioned it a few times, but this is my paper was never published or anything like that. I was hoping that it would actually be utilized, but I don't think it ever did. So losing a drone in bad weather or mechanical failure is nothing comparable to what happens with firefighting. So it's cheap. Let it go. Why not do this? I think it's brilliant. So they say, despite obvious advantages, using drones to battle fires is challenging. For example, many systems cannot operate in high winds and intense heat found near fire zones, which is why I suggested much more industrial, like military grade drones. Drones produce a vast stream of data such as video, thermal images, information about temperature and wind speed. They can actually be much higher and perform these duties. You make a more robust drop system.
And they can kind of be outside of the fire zone, which firefighters can't always be if they're going to be close enough to actually do anything.
Yeah, and this can respond faster than anything that humans can, because they can be out there flying around, surveilling,
And will be blocked from accessing it like humans might be, because they can go over or around or whatever.
Yeah, they can fly straight over a lake, and have no problem doing it. All right. Well, they talk more about this, but they say in a warmer world, innovation is vital, and it's hard to knock this. I don't see any negatives, even if they enumerate them in this article. I don't see them as negatives. They can be resolved and solved and sent out and put these fires
even
out.
if this affects 10% of fires or something in a location, that's a win.
Yeah. And these are not industrial drones. So
no, but they could use those for more efficient or
higher
scale
altitude analysis. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. The next two are going to be really quick because there isn't really much data here. Vornado recalls nearly 8,000, and it's very niche. So Vornado recalls nearly 8,000 whole room heaters. And in these times, hell has frozen over, and so you need some heaters sometimes in like an office or in workspace or in a home. But Vornado is recalling its VH2 whole room heaters because the product's power cord can potentially detach and lead to electric shock and fire. The article is by Yi Jin Yu from the Good Morning America, apparently, but it's published at ABC News, which is a subdomain of abcnews.go.com marketing.
Right. Players.
It's the turducken of article posting. So the recall was issued January 16th in cooperation with the U.S. Consumer Protection Safety Commission. According to the company, applies to off-white Vornado VH2 whole room heaters with the word Vornado and a red V behind it printed in the front of the product. So there's a Vornado and then a big red V that says very hot. It doesn't say that, but anyway. Recalled heaters were made in the U.S., so
that would be bad if it had that code or whatever.
Yeah. They bear a July 24 and August 24 date code and type VH2 printed on the silver rating label on the underside of the heater. So ask if it's okay to look, and then you can lift it up and look at its bits. They also have a thermostatic temperature control with settings for automatic or continuous fan operation and 2 heat settings. Hot and oh my god.
And Fuego.
Sweaty. So VH2 recall, which is kind of unfortunate because VH1 was recalled quite a while ago. That's the music video hits.
Right, that was like an MTV type channel.
Yeah. Is it even around anymore? I don't. Okay, don't get sidetracked. Mayor Watt, stay focused. Focused. Anyway, as with all things, never leave your portable heaters on while sleeping. Never leave heaters running unattended in a confined space to reduce hyperthermia hazards. You can get hyperthermia? Why would you? If it's unattended, then why would you get hyperthermia?
I don't know, but by the way, VH1 still exists.
Wow. Didn't know that. Talk about kinetic energy. Place heaters on a stable, level surface where it will not be knocked over. Or live a life of adventure and put it on a rocking horse. No? A wooden rocking horse. Don't do that. That's dumb. Keep all sides of the portable heater at least 3 feet from beds, clothes, curtains, papers, sofas, and other items that can catch fire. What the hell, man? Put it under your pillow.
No, do not do that. No cloth.
When using electric portable heaters, always use a wall outlet and never power strip. Never run a heater's cord under rugs or carpeting. And be mindful of children and pets around portable heaters. Just snuggle them right up close. No?
No. Don't allow pets unattended around heaters.
And don't allow children around heaters unattended because the heaters get lonely. And they need a hug. And children are typically, right, pretty comfortable with giving people hugs.
Yes.
And so these heaters are very friendly looking. And so the kids might give them a hug.
Yeah, don't leave the kids unattended around the heaters either.
Everything's connected. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, the last article for tonight's Non Sequitur News is over in, hey, look, Non Sequitur News. It's like the name of the show. New Yorkers are going to get $3 billion in inflation refund checks. Yes, each New Yorker is going to get a $3 billion inflation refund check.
Time to move to New York.
To Newark? Isn't that New Jersey? You just like...
Well, I mean, New Jersey wants to be grouped with New York on that.
Oh, right. That
was about the ferries or something.
Yeah, what was that?
I forgot what the issue was. It had to do with like collecting revenue or something.
The surge pricing for driving around Manhattan.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. So Governor Kathy Hochul, I think her name is, said checks of up to $500 could be delivered to millions of residents because they've earmarked in their budget $3 billion in inflation refund checks. The article is by Alice Higham, I think, over at Newsweek.com. And they say why it matters. New York is by far one of the most expensive places to live. And of course, that $500 is going to make a huge difference. Maybe in the short. Go ahead.
I mean, this is in the state, right? Not in the city.
Yeah, state. Mm-hmm.
I mean, $500 can make a lot of difference to families. Somebody that is rich, maybe not, but somebody that's eking by, absolutely.
Those who file their taxes jointly and make less than $300,000 per year would receive a $500 check. Individuals who make up to $150,000 would receive a $300 check. This seems like big numbers. Why not reduce it? Those making $150,000 and filing jointly should get a $1,000 check, and those who make $75,000 should get a $600 check. Let's consolidate it and give it to people who are really in need, at a higher level of need, because inflation disproportionately hurts people, you know?
Right, at lower income levels, absolutely. Might be one of these things that the only way it was going to get passed is if it was at these thresholds or something. But I agree.
So Hochul said that 8.6 million people will qualify for the checks. Hochul said that the proposed $1 billion in middle-class tax cuts for 5 of the Empire State's 9 tax brackets, which the announcement said will cut rates to their lowest level in nearly 70 years for New Yorkers who file jointly and earn up to $323,000 annually. That's a shit ton of money. Anyway. Because, oh, God, I'm so, what is going to happen? Anyway, there's more for this article, but I thought that it was interesting that the thresholds were so high.
Yeah. I mean, part of that is a testament to the cost of living, and at least in New York City or urban areas. But I agree. I mean, certainly some households could use this money, but you're right. They don't need it equally. And probably the households of these upper thresholds don't need it.
But I guarantee you there are people out there going, well, I want my $300 and $500 and I'm making $300,000. Really? You need that $500 that bad?
Yeah.
Any money back is basically, yeah. Meanwhile, there are people, never mind. Anyway, I am going to end the show, and that means that I'm going to file myself, and that'll deliver me to the front page of ohmtown.com, where all of the Non Sequitur news discussions are housed. You just have to go over there and become a citizen. It's real easy. You either sign in if you already are, or sign up. It's just a couple of questions. You get to pick a name, and that's it. And we don't spam you from the website. You'll get notices when we go live if you follow us on Twitch or on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe, ring the bell. Please leave a comment. Please follow us. Please like us. We've been doing this now. This is the start of the 4th season. Yeah, I'm looking for more engagement. Watch the videos. Let us know what you would like in the comments. Like, do you want us to focus on something this way or that way? But I know that it's hard to categorize Non Sequitur News or all of the rest of the shows, which are niche, but they too are hard to categorize beyond where we've put them. And so YouTube doesn't really know what to do with us as Non Sequitur News, which is a Monday through Friday show, hour long, covers 10 articles, running a broad gamut of topics. But the 6 other weekend shows are pared down quite a bit, 5 articles focused on a topic. But those are weekly shows. So our big show is the Non Sequitur News show. So we would love to hear from you and have you tell a friend. We don't really market. We don't really pump our show. Even on Twitch, where I spend probably an inordinate amount of time, I operate as Mayor Watt. I don't operate as ohmTown, but we stream from ohmTown. And so there's a disconnect because I don't want to market ohmTown in other people's channels. And when streamers find out that I do that, they draw attention to the fact, but it slows down discovery quite a bit because Twitch discovery is kind of weak sauce. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's it. I'm going to take the sentient AI with me. You want to say bye?
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. And boy, we had some non sequiturs. Be back tomorrow for another episode.
Maybe. Depends on if the asteroid hits. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye, YouTube. And bye-bye, Twitch.